Cook, eat, relax with me, Josie Fletcher. We're going to do sweet and sour chicken today, but not the way the takeaways do it. It's going to be fast, it's going to be clean, and most importantly, it's going to be really, really fresh. Using similar ingredients to that, we're going to make a really nice Asian pork kind of stir fry with a nice sauce. We're going to serve it with some boiled rice, and it's going to be really, really easy. If you wanted to, you could entertain your friends with this lovely takeaway style banquet. Okay, we're going to start by finely chopping the chilli, ginger and garlic. We're going to do a thumb-sized square of ginger. So I always have loads of fresh ginger in my fridge because it's really, really inexpensive and lasts quite a long time. The skin comes off nice and easy, like so. And then we're going to finely slice it into little ribbons and then dice it into little chunks. So nice and simple. And then slice it into little ribbons like that. You can't substitute with dried ginger for this recipe, unfortunately. It does need to be fresh. The dried powdered ginger wouldn't have the same effect. And the bite from the ginger is really, really important to make this work. And don't worry about it being too fine. You can give it a good chop and then just pop it in. It doesn't have to be like a really fine dice because you want a little bit of a crunch. It adds so much flavour to the dish. Okay, right, we're going to slice the spring onions. The spring onions are going to add a nice kind of crunch at the end, so we're not really going to cook them properly, we're just going to warm them through. So we're going to do a nice diagonal slice just to make them look pretty, but do whatever you can with them. So if you hold it at an angle and just rock your knife back and forwards, you can make a nice kind of diagonal slice. Finally chop the coriander and put it to one side. Finally dust your chicken with 1/4 teaspoon of Chinese 5-spice and a pinch of salt. Mix it all well together until each piece of chicken has got a nice little coating. Okay, we're going to get a nice sized frying pan on a really good heat here, and we're going to add 1 tablespoon of ground nut oil. Now I use ground nut because it's my favourite, but you can use rapeseed, vegetable oil, anything like that. But ground nut I think works better with these Asian dishes. We need the oil to heat up nice and hot, and then we're going to put the chicken in. And we want it to sizzle and go crazy and get loads and loads of colour and flavour in there. Okay, the oil's ready. When you put it in the pan, it comes out quite thick, and you'll know the oil's ready when it's sort of a bit thinner in the pan, and you can see how easy that's sort of gliding around the pan. Okay, so we're going to put the chicken in. Don't be scared of it. It may well sizzle. You don't have to completely cook it through at this point, but we want to get it all sealed and coated, and then we're going to add the vegetables. Okay, so after about 5 minutes, your chicken should have a really nice deep colour to it. And at that point, make sure you're keeping the heat high. At that point, we're going to add our baby corn and some sugar snap peas or mange tout, whatever you can get in the supermarket. I've just sliced the corn into little kind of dice like that, just so it cooks a little bit quicker. But if they're small, you can throw them in whole, that's no problem. And we're just going to let the heat get to the vegetables. We don't want them cooked and soggy and horrible. We want a bit of crunch to it, and there's still a little bit more cooking time to go. So all we need to do is just to kind of warm them through in the heat from the pan at this stage. In a separate bowl, mix the water, vinegar, soy, brown sugar and corn flour together. Make sure you mix it well and that all the corn flour lumps have dissolved. It will look disgusting at this stage, but don't panic, it's exactly how it's supposed to be. Okay, we're going to lower the heat now, so we're going to turn it just down to a nice little simmer. We're going to add the rest of the oil. And then we're going to add our chilli, ginger and garlic to the pan. And move it round the pan. At this stage, you could quite easily burn the garlic if you don't keep it moving. So just move it round a little bit, don't let it sit too long. You will instantly start to get that hit of aroma. The chilli, the ginger, the garlic will just enter the room and smell delicious. That's where most of your flavour will be coming from for this dish. Now we pour our very disgusting looking mixture into the pan, but as I say, don't worry, it will not look like this when it's finished. So we'll pour it in, and then now we need to pop the heat back up a little bit. and let it bubble away. At this stage, I know you're thinking, how is that going to turn into a thick and luxurious sweet and sour sauce? But you can literally see it happening so quickly. Around the edges of the pan it will start to thicken. Just keep gently moving it a little bit, and before you know it, the magic would have happened, and this is going to turn into a beautiful silky sweet and sour dish. That's absolutely perfect. Just have a little taste before you serve it and make sure the balance of sugar to vinegar is right. If you're worried it's too sweet, add a tiny bit more vinegar. If you're worried it's too sour, add a tiny bit more sugar. At this stage you can sprinkle a little bit more in and it won't affect the dish at all. Cook it through for another minute and it's perfect. Okay, I've turned the heat off now and we're going to add our spring onions. We don't really want to cook them through. We want them to add a little bit of crunch and bite to the dish at the end. And then our chopped coriander goes on top. And you could do it without coriander if you didn't want it, because I know a few people are a bit funny with fresh coriander, but it really does make a difference to the dish. It really adds a lot of depth of flavour. And then we'll just mix that round and you're done. Your amazing, quick and easy sweet and sour sauce is ready. Pour it into a nice bowl. Make sure you get all these lovely little bits out the pan because that's all flavour. Sprinkle on a little bit more fresh coriander. Serve either on its own as it is or with some boiled rice or some noodles. Okay, we've got 450 grams of pork tenderloin here. This is a really lovely cut of meat for anything that you need to stir fry. So we're going to make this really quick, so it's still going to be moist and it's not going to be tough or have a long cooking time. So we're going to slice it into kind of thin batons and then stir fry it, and it's going to turn out beautifully. Now make the marinade by finely chopping 1 fat clove of garlic, 1 large red chilli, optional of course, and grating a thumb-sized piece of ginger. When you're grating the ginger, just try and leave a little bit on the end to hold on to, so then you won't grate your fingers. Pop it all into a large bowl with the pork and add 3 sliced spring onions. Add the soy, honey, vinegar, 5 spice and tomato puree and mix everything in together in the bowl and leave to marinate for as long as you can. If you don't have a long time, do it straight away, you've still got loads of flavour in there. In a large pan, heat a tablespoon of rapeseed oil, and again make sure the oil's nice and hot, and add your peppers and your mange too. We're going to fry those for 1 minute and then add the pork. Now we're going to tip in our lovely marinated pork. We want it on a nice high heat. I'm using a plastic spatula to make sure that I get all of the juice and ginger and chilli and garlic out of the pan, and these plastic spatulas are brilliant for that. Then this is going to continue to cook on a nice high heat for around 5 to 7 minutes. Let the sauce bubble away until it's nice and thick and the pork's cooked through. Serve on a bed of rice and sprinkle with some coriander and dig in.